Hey, how many like going to movies? Like movies? I enjoy the movie. Everybody loves a movie, right? I mean, I've been watching movies for 100 years, and love movies. I mean, I remember back from little tiny kid, going to the movies, and I think I went to one a week or two ago. I love the atmosphere. I love the popcorn. I've probably had gallons of Diet Coke over the years. Just the whole event is kind of cool. A good story is enjoyable. I love some special effects. All the stuff. But I was thinking this week, I was preparing for today, I thought, all those movies that I've gone to over the years, all that time I have invested, the gallons of Diet Coke, the pounds of popcorn, that's a lot of popcorn, that sometimes I go just for the popcorn, but that's beside the point. All the time I have spent in theaters over the years, I can't remember a single name of any person ever. I've never met a person in that theater other than the people I were with, right? I mean, I don't know anybody's name. I don't know about their family. I don't know what they do for a living. I don't know why they came to that movie at that time. I mean, I know nothing about them. We were complete strangers. We came in, we watched a show, we ate a few snacks, we left, we jumped in our cars, and we said, hey, what'd you think about the movie? And everybody went home, and I have no idea what anybody else even thought about the movie because we never talked, we never met. We were just part of a crowd hanging out, watching, the same show, doing the same thing. Now, to be fair, none of us went there to build any relationships. Nobody, I assume, thought, man, we're going to go to a movie and meet a friend. That wasn't the case. We go there to watch a show. But it did get me thinking, I wonder, really, I shouldn't even say wonder, I think in the last few decades, we have molded and changed and shaped the church to be almost like a movie theater. That kind of have that type of feel to it. We've trained people to look at going to church the same way as we go to movies. We want a place with a fun atmosphere. We watch a show. We listen to a message. Maybe have a snack or two. Everybody gets up afterwards. They head off their own separate ways and maybe never see each other again. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? Unless we're very intentional. Your typical Sunday morning experience in pretty much any church, most churches, is completely void of any actual relationship building. You're looking at the back of someone's head, you're listening, you're watching, you're participating that way. Like I said, maybe having a snack or something, which is kind of weird considering all the scripture we have about the first century church and the relationships they had. Right? I mean, there was a connection, a deep connection in these churches. The Apostle Paul writes about it in Romans 12. He says, now, as we have many parts in one body, and all parts do not have the same function, so we're all different, we're all doing different things, different strengths, different talents, right? In the same way, we who are many are one body in Christ, and individually members of one another. We belong to each other in the church. Love one another deeply, he says in verse 10. As brothers and sisters, take the lead in honoring one another. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with one another. The Apostle Paul is describing some deep connections that couldn't have happened at a movie theater or in a movie setting, or even in a typical modern church setting where you're just staring at the back of someone's head. It's something deeper than that. These are people who come together as one. They love one another deeply. They honor one another. They're like competing to see who can honor each other most, or best, or first, right? They're people who celebrate each other's victories and weep for each other's pain. Maybe we've missed the mark a little bit, because that describes things that you would have to do things outside of this hour to make that happen. Right? It's just how it is. 1 Peter 4:8, Peter says, above all, maintain constant love for one another. The NIV translates the word there, love one another deeply. Kind of echoes what Paul said, deep love. Love one another deeply. If you're looking to build meaningful relationships, a movie theater setting isn't going to work. Get them in, watch a show, get them out, get ready for the next show, get the new crowd in, watch a show, get them out, continue a rotation. That's not the way to do it. A healthy, deep, meaningful relationship takes time. It takes months, takes weeks, months, years. I mean, decades, right? I mean, a relationship that is really in depth takes time to develop. It takes time to cook. If you're a brisket person, would you rather have a microwave brisket or a smoked brisket? It's going to give you two different things. Well, same thing with relationships. You want to have a long developing, slow cooking relationship to go deep. It's time after time of people sharing small experiences together, working together, laughing together, playing together, crying together, serving together. Luke describes in Acts 2 the relationships that were happening very early on in the church. And if you notice, we'll read this, it's familiar verses, that to the group. So it's not group and that's all we're going to stay together, so we stay deep in love. No, God kept adding more, and they were falling in love with each other too. All the believers, verse 44 of Acts 2, all the believers were together, held all things in common. They sold their possessions and property, distributed the proceeds to all as any had need. Oh, how do you know they have need? Unless you have a conversation, unless you know, right? Unless you know them, right? Every day they devoted themselves to meeting together in the temple. They broke bread from house to house. They ate their food with joyful, sincere hearts, praising God, enjoying the favor of all the people. Every day the Lord added to their number those who were being saved. There's a deep community described there. They had this attitude of what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. It wasn't a government program. It was their hearts sharing with one another. What's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. They knew each other. They loved each other because they spent time together, meeting daily in people's homes and at the temple, taking care of one another's needs. Again, they knew the needs because they met together all the time, and they talked all the time. They just knew each other. They hung out together. They learned about God together. They prayed together. They worshiped together. They were together as people. Ephesians 4, I urge you to walk worthy of the calling you have received. But what's that? What does that mean? With humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, making every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. So Paul the apostle pleading with the early church, saying this is how you love each other deeply. This is how you build these connections, how you grow deep together. You be humble and gentle and patient with one another. You bear with one another. If you're bearing with someone, that means someone's kind of annoying, right? Do you ever have anybody annoying in your life? It's like you bear with them and say, you know what, but I love you. You know what, man, you drive me crazy, but Jesus died for you too, and we're in this together, and what's mine is yours, and yours is mine, and we have this deep commitment and connection together. We love one another. He pleaded with them to do whatever it took to stay together in unity. John 13, Jesus is saying, love one another, just as I have loved you, talking to his disciples, obviously, but to us as well. He says, you are also to love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another. Everybody will know you're a disciple of Jesus, not because you have the t-shirt that says Jesus, or because you're wearing a cross necklace. Those are great, but that's not what identifies you as a believer in Jesus. They will see the way we treat one another, the way we speak to one another, the way we speak about one another in public and private, with them or without them, behind their back, whatever. When they see us hanging out, when they see us laughing and enjoying, when we're sitting at a restaurant, filling the place up and having a great time and being a positive thing in the community, they see we sharing moments together. They'll see that and say, man, there's something special about those people. What is it they have? Why do they like each other? That's crazy. They'll know from your love. Peter wrote to love one another deeply. He also wrote in chapter 1, verse 22, since you have purified yourselves by your obedience to the truth, you accepted the truth of Jesus. That's great. It says, now you show sincere brotherly love for each other. From a pure heart, love one another constantly. Just keep loving one another. Don't let it stop. Don't say, well, I said that nice thing once 3 weeks ago. I mean, to continually love one another sincerely and genuinely and purely and constantly. You just keep doing it. Peter wrote later on in that same letter, chapter 3, verse 8, finally, all of you be like-minded and sympathetic. Love one another and be compassionate and humble. How can you be like-minded if you don't even know the person's name? If you don't know their family, you don't know their work, you don't know their history, you don't know their story, you don't know anything about them, it's just that guy, it's just that gal. You get to know each other. That's how you become like-minded. You share, you talk, you experience things together. It's time spent together that makes you like-minded. It doesn't mean you have to agree on everything. There's going to be times that we don't agree on things. That's okay. Christians get to do that. But we still are like-minded in that we have the same Jesus, the same Lord, the same goal, major goals in life. Speaking of which, that's what we're talking about this week, goals. How do we do better? How do we improve? How do we make progress in our faith? And we've been talking about different things. This week I want to talk about that deep connection with the church. I would hope everybody who goes to church has a goal like, man, I want to connect. I want to know people, right? I don't want to just come and be like a movie where I eat popcorn and then leave. I want to know names. I want to have history. I want to share an experience with people. That's the goal. That's the goal. And if that's the goal, there's some simple steps you can take to make that happen. It's the same stuff that they did in the first century that made Paul and Peter and Luke write about their love and their connection and the deep relationships they had together. So that's what we're going to talk about today. These verses, I think, give us a few good instructions and some meaningful helps and hints to make this happen. Peter sums that up pretty well in the verse we already read, 1 Peter 3:8. Finally, all of you be like-minded and sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate and humble. NIV uses the term live in harmony with one another. There's nothing like a beautiful four-part harmony of voices, singing a song together. That took some practice, that took some time. They usually, and this are like really crazy quality musicians, don't just stand up and sing four-part harmony. They got to know the song, and they got to know where they're going, all the stuff, the stops and starts. I was just singing a barbershop quartet. That was 100 years ago. And I was a lead guy, and I'd have to like cut them off and stuff. It's like there was work involved before we'd go out into the community and sing like Christmas carols in the downtown, and we went all over the place. It was fun. It took work to do that. That's what I think of when I hear the word harmony. It's these voices working together. It's these people, all of us working together for the same thing. So we're going to look at 5 ways to develop deeper relationships. It kind of comes out of these verses, and a lot of it comes out of Peter there. The first one is live in harmony with one another. You just do it. Just live in harmony. The Greek word translated harmony is a compound of 2 different words. It means one word is together, and one word is heart or mind, and it literally means have the same think. Have your mind the same. So the CSB says it pretty well. Be like-minded, right? Have your minds be the same. It requires, like I said already, time. How can I be like-minded with you if I don't know anything about what's going on in your mind? If I don't know anything about you? It takes getting to know people, how they react, how they think, what they don't like, all the things. It's all part of becoming like-minded. So it takes investment. It takes time. Secondly, it says be sympathetic. The more you know someone, the more sympathetic it will be. If you open up your phone and you read the news that, somebody's dog got run over, you go, oh man, that's really sad, that's really terrible. But if it's like someone you love's dog got run over, that'd be like, it breaks your heart. Like, oh man, that little buddy was such a good little dog, and then you're weeping and you're sorry and you connect with contact. Man, I'm so sorry this happened to you. You feel deeper when you know someone deeper. And that's what this is talking about. You're feeling their emotions. So when someone you care about has a win in their lives, you are genuinely happy for them. When someone's going through a rough time and you know them and love them and have a deep connection with them, you feel their pain very closely and very deeply. Number 3 is love as brothers. The Greek word phileo, a brotherly love. You've probably heard that before. It's a healthy, close relative kind of love. Families are interesting animals, aren't we? We know everything about each other. We know how we celebrate. We know how we mourn. We know how we act when we're happy and when we're sad and when we're hungry or hangry or all the different things. We laugh together. We fight together. We play. We win. We lose. And the family sees all of that, and they're still family, It builds this bond together of families. And the scripture says, hey, that's your church family. That's your church family. Get to know your church-like family and connect at a deeper level. Number 4 is be compassionate. This is an interesting one. The Greek word refers to the bowels here, the intestines. It refers to a deep, deep emotional connection that you feel deep in your gut. I mean, it's down there. You feel deeply for someone. When someone that you love deeply is hurting, you feel the pain in the pit of your gut. You lose sleep over it. You think about them all day long and pray about them all day long, and you wake up at all hours of the night praying, heart aching for them, and you plead their case before God continually. It's just where you're at. And if they are experiencing a big win, it's the same thing. You're just like, man, I can't believe that happened. That is so great. They got that promotion. They got that job. They got, whatever it is that happened to them. Oh, they won the lottery. That's so great. And you're so happy. You're thrilled for them because you love them deeply. It's a deep, deep feeling that you have for them. That's connection that comes from being a part of a community of believers. That happens through time. It doesn't happen the first time you walk in and say, hey, my name's Dan. Oh, I feel deeply for you. No, that's kind of weird. It takes time to develop that. It happens slowly. Number 5 is be humble. Humility is an attitude that basically says you're more important than I am. Pride puts me on the top. Humility puts me below you, right? And a relationship built on pride builds walls between us. I'm trying to beat you. I'm trying to look better than you, be thought of as better than you. I want to win. You can be in second, that's fine, but I got to win. That builds barriers. But when we all approach each other with humility, trying to build each other up, trying to let the other person win, trying to let them get the upper hand, and treat them better, that changes everything, and it opens hearts and opens doors and builds deeper relationships. Every time the early church met, they met, all the time. Publicly, they met privately. They met in groups. They met in homes. They fed widows. They cared for orphans. They gathered for teaching. They gathered for fellowship. They gathered for worship. They did all those things all the time. It just continually happened. As a matter of fact, if you look at church history, it happened day and night. It wasn't just like, hey, see you at 10 o'clock on Sunday. It was every morning. Many of the church gathered. Every evening, many of the church gathered. They were eating, all the things. It was just they were living life together, literally. Then they'd run off and do their stuff that they had to do, and then they'd gather again together, and that's how they knew each other so well. Probably impractical to expect us to have, I asked John, could you have a worship service every morning at 7 and every night at 9? And he said, no. Where are you at? There. No, it wouldn't be practical. We got lives, we got things going on. Your children have sports, and you got jobs, and all this stuff, right? It just wouldn't work. So what do you do? How do you translate that? How do we, in our society, in our time, in our world, make this happen? How do we duplicate the relationships they had in the first century? It's by offering some opportunities. So I put some 4 action steps at the bottom, because this is simple. If you crave those relationships, if that's one of your goals, I want to go deeper in connection with my church family. Well, there's some things to do that are very practical. And honestly, this stuff was set up in the beginning because the goal is for us all to connect at a deeper level. So here they are, 4 action steps to build a deeper community. Number 1 is make Sunday worship a priority. That's not just to make the numbers look good, right? That's not. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with all of us building deeper commitments together. There's 1,000 things going on in your life, in all of our lives, and I understand that. There's so many things, there's so many options, so many directions we're being pulled. We all in a given year on a Sunday. Make it a priority. Make it an important time to you. The more times you're here rubbing shoulders with people, the more conversations you will have, and those little conversations that lead to the next one, that start building up a little tiny relationship that make a bigger and bigger and bigger, or deeper relationship. It's all those little conversations added together. The more you come, the more you know. Simple as that. Besides, the biblical part and the teaching part and the worship part is a connection part. It begins on a Sunday morning often. And as long as you're here, number 2 is come 10 minutes early, stay 10 minutes late. Here's what happens. And this was my family growing up, so I totally get this. You come in and you try to time it so the first song is already going on. You don't have to talk to anybody that way. You just slide, nope, late, gotta go. Everybody goes, yeah, get in there, okay, and you get in here. And then the last song is going, you get up like during that last verse, and you're out. That's how I grew up. That's how I spent most of my life. Oddly, I didn't know anybody growing up either. and except the kids in my Sunday school class. I didn't know people because I didn't interact with people. We never in my life had anyone from church at our home. Never went out to dinner with them. And we didn't do that. Was not my family's thing. We just didn't do that. That overflowed into how we approached church. It was a movie theater. Came in, watch a show, do the thing, get out. That's how it is. If you make a commitment to coming 10 minutes early and staying 10 minutes late, that will multiply the opportunities to build deeper commercials. Grab a donut. Could I say commercials? Good. I even said, what? What am I saying? What? Relationships. Yeah, word of commercial. It's not even a C word. Anyway. Grab a donut, sit down in the cafe. Maybe I saw the word cafe. Strike up a conversation. Conversation, that's where I was going with. Stand up in the hallway, strike a conversation. Just do something where you're going to rub shoulders with people and say something. If you come a little early, you can relax. They can relax. Everybody's relaxed. You can have more opportunity to talk. There's always people hanging out in the worship space here after each service. You know what? Hang out a little bit. Just hang out. Sit down at a table. I bet someone's going to come up and start talking to you. It's amazing. Sometimes people are here a half an hour after church is over, just talk, and it's kind of fun. I'll be down the hall thinking, what in the world's going on down there? You know, it's like, oh, stop that laughing down here. You know, I mean, they're just having a good time, and they're getting to know each other. It's all those little conversations that add up and make the relationships a little bit deeper. Truth of the matter is, I don't care what group you go to. I'm in Kiwanis. You can go to Kiwanis. You can go here. You can go to any group out there. All right. The average group of people is always filled with tons of introverts. Right? Everybody's waiting for someone else to make the first move. Everyone's waiting for someone else to say something. Unless you happen to be an extrovert, you're like, what's wrong with these people? It's like, well, they're introverts. Honestly, I'm an introvert. I would be happy hiding in that little corner room over there with the door shut and just like watch. I'd be happy with that. It's really weird. I'm not a spotlight guy, and here I am standing in the spotlight, you know, talking about commercials. Just assume the room is filled with introverts, and you might have to make them first move. Because even with an introvert, if you start with something, if you ask a question, they're probably going to respond. Matter of fact, there's nobody here that's really hateful. No one will probably punch you in the face if you say, hey, man, I love the donuts here. It's pretty good. No one's going to say, that's dumb. I mean, they'll say something back. So come up with some question. Maybe a question of the week. Hey, man, what do we do with the homeless? I hear about this homeless stuff. I see pictures on the TV out there. What do you guys really do out there? Tell me about it. Oh, someone who's part of that would love to talk about what's going on in the homeless ministry. What's up with the Zim 25 Italian restaurant? I mean, is that really a restaurant? It kind of looks official. I don't know. What is that? And I bet you there's a group of people who would love to tell you whether they've been on staff serving or whether they've been part of the sitting at a table enjoying the food and the atmosphere. There's someone who'd love to tell you a story about the Zim 25 last year, 24 the year before that, Zim 26 this year restaurant. What it's all about. It's just it's a conversation. You could always say, man, why do you think Tom wears those goofy shirts all the time? People would love to talk to you about that. Why does he always dress like Dan wearing a or did I dress like you? We didn't talk. We're not sure who dresses like who. All right. Most people are very approachable. So start the conversation. It might be a small conversation, but that's how it starts. The most awkward part of every relationship is those first few conversations. When Cheryl and I started dating, again, we've been married a long time now, but the first 3 weeks, we're like, we have no idea. We're driving down the road, like the first time in the car together, and we're like reading street signs as we're going, whether 53rd Street, Des Moines, it was like, we didn't know what to talk about, and it was really awkward. Somehow we stuck, though. Somehow, we got married, and here we are together. So just take that first move and say something. Number 3, get involved in a ministry. I don't say that to add volunteers to a list of ministries that need volunteers. Sometimes we get so excited in churches that we're like so pushing for volunteers, we forget to tell you why. Why are these opportunities even created in the first place? It's not just to do busy things. It's not just we're afraid that you'll sit around and watch football rather than serve Jesus if you don't have something to do. That's not the thing. It's because they're opportunities to get to know people in a real way. You serve with someone, whatever area you're serving in, you get to know them. You develop common goals. You share a common interest. You serve next to them. You're rubbing shoulders with them. You just get to know them better. You just naturally talk. Well, I'm doing this after this is over. I did this yesterday. And you get to know a little bit about each other. How can you be like-minded if you don't know what's going on in their mind? Guys, I would strongly encourage you to come to men's ministry every Saturday morning at 8:30. We gather, it's a bunch of guys, and we talk guy stuff. It's stuff we don't talk about in life group. It's stuff we don't talk about in Sunday school. It's stuff we don't talk about here. It's dudes talking dude stuff, which overlaps with spiritual. We're talking actual spiritual warfare right now. There's some stuff, crazy stuff out there, and we're talking about that. There's guys talking about that. You get to know other guys through talking to other guys. Women, there's some women's ministry stuff coming up that will be promoted soon. The purpose of that is not just to put something on a calendar and make it look good and say, hey, see, we have an app, you should use it. It's to give you an opportunity to know other women. How do you know how other women think unless you meet with them and talk with them and have conversations with them? That's what it's all about, is the fellowship and getting to know one another. So take advantage of that. We have an entire church full of people craving deeper relationships, and here's the opportunities. There's so many all the time that we have for people. Jump in on the homeless outreach once in a while. You don't have to go every week, every time we go, every 2 weeks, but go once in a while. Jump in and see. Man, pretty soon you start actually building relationships with the homeless folks, and that's like different level. Like, wow, I did not see that coming. How cool that is to know people by name and to recognize people by face and to know what they like to eat and know what kind of clothes what kind of shoe they're looking for, whatever. You just get to know things because we hang out with them. So there's so many things to do. The children's ministry, there's just tons of things to get involved with. Number 4 is become part of a life group. You study together, you pray together, you socialize together, you spend time together, you get to know each other, you build deeper community. It just happens naturally. It just happens naturally. You're having conversations you would never have in here on a Sunday morning because I'm doing all the talking. You're talking to one another and sharing what's going on. And the longer you're in a small group, a life group, it doesn't happen like over a week and over 2 months or even 6 months, but in time it just builds and builds and builds. I have people I've been in life group with for decades. I know so much about them and they know so much about me, and we still like each other. It's like that's what happens when you get involved in a life group. People always say, man, we do so much around here. We're not a huge church, we're not a mega church, but we have all these things going on all the time. There's something coming up, and there's something after that, and man, just look right now. We got a big football party coming up, and there's a big pasta dinner coming up. I didn't even mention the prayer room's coming up again in 6 weeks or so, and there's always something. Whenever that's done, there's something else coming up after that. There's just always something happening, and it's yes. That's actually on purpose, not just to give me something to do planning and sit in my office, go, what can we do next? It's actually on purpose to build deeper connections. The truth is, you probably can't do all of them. Don't feel guilty if something comes oh man, I just can't do it. Okay, you can't. But it's not. We don't expect everybody to do everything in everything. But if you do some of them, it will help you get to know people more than you ever could from sitting here watching the show, eating your popcorn, and getting ready, going back home. The Zim 26 restaurant has a ton of people involved. Last year, I was looking at pictures from last year. We had 20-some people. We had a little staff picture. It had to be at least 25 people in there. I was going to show it and thought, we're going to just take more time. And it's just there's a ton of people with a common goal, with a common interest, like-minded, at least for that couple hours, 3, 4 hours that night, doing something together, and then that creates a memory, and you go back and say, remember when we did this? Remember when so-and-so dropped that plate? Remember when so-and-so caught the spaghetti on fire? Whatever. There's all kinds of little fun stories that goes with it. It creates a ton of memories and experiences. The mission trips we do are not just about reaching people for Jesus. That's a huge part of it. That's a number one goal for sure. But they're about building relationships and memories. And they give us common goals and common dreams. They let you know things about people you'd never know. Nobody would know that Mike Torres juggles by coming here on Sunday morning. I was going to show a video, and I took some of that stuff out. I was running out of time. But there one day, I look over there, we're in Africa, and there's Mike juggle on the way, and all these kids are like, oh, and he's teaching kids how to juggle. I'm like, okay, there's something I wouldn't have known unless we were in Africa, together. So there's the relationships and connections that are built because of doing things like that together. Even the meetings we have leading up to going on the mission trip, it's not just about the mission, it's about building the team and building the one-mindedness within the team. Like, okay, we're in this together, we're doing this, we're building, we have a common goal, a common desire, and sometimes, it's not like let's rip through the agenda so we can get home. It's like let's spend some time together as a team because we're going to go halfway across the world and we better know each other well now before we get there then, or we'll react poorly to one another. And that's the whole goal with that. I promise you, if you do these 4 things on the screen, it will shift you from a movie theater relationship with people to a deeper, more meaningful relationship and love that you have for your brothers and sisters here at the church. And guys, that is a worthy goal to have.